All right, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. Now let's take you into Quebec's classrooms. Quebec's Education Minister, Bernard Dréville, has clarified the directive to ban cell phones, smartphones in the classrooms. Schools will have to take steps to ban those smartphones and cell phones in classrooms by the end of this year. The ban is for the use of cell phone headsets and other personal mobile devices used by students on school premises. Let's find out how this is playing out. Perhaps it's already in effect in some schools. Catherine Hogan's with us, high school teacher at Westwood Senior High in Hudson. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Elias.
So where does it stand in your school? Because I know you have until the end of the year, but some schools have been very proactive. Others have been taking more of a wait-and-see approach. How's it going in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, most schools actually have some policies already in place, and our school is definitely does. We have a cell phone ban already in place in our school since the beginning of the year. Like a lot of schools, we had the ban in place 3 or 4 years ago. Then during COVID, it weakened a little bit. It sort of slacked off a little bit, and now we've tightened it back up again, and it's back in full force.
What does the ban look like in your school? Like students walk in and the phone goes in a bit. Like, what does it look like? What does implementation look like?
So the implementation at our school says that the students are allowed the phones during their own personal time, and these are set up for them. So in the morning, they have a few minutes before class in the morning with their classmates. They can be on them then. They can also be on them at lunch. That's their own personal time. And at recess. Any other time, they can't be out of their bags. We shouldn't see them in the hallways between classes as well. All school times that are their academic times, there's no phones out in our school.
But the phone still remains in the physical possession of the students. It's in their bag, yes. Can be in their pocket, but yeah.
Yes. We recommend that they stay in the locker, and a lot of kids actually are really good about that. They keep them in their locker more and more, so we're seeing that. Yes, students can have them on them, but the minute they're seen, the minute they're out, then they can be taken, because the rule is that they're not allowed to be in class.
When we talked about this, Catherine, because you were on the show a while back when this was announced, one thing I remember is that one of your points was that the students were the ones who are they're begging for this. Like they know they can't control themselves, so they just wanted the adults in the room to make the decision for them. Now, as it's played out, do you stand by what you said there?
Yes, and I think students are actually quite happy. The students that I've spoken to over the course of actually several years, as this rule has sort of come in play in different schools, kids do like it. They do feel that it gives them a sense of being able to pay attention in class, to separate themselves from sort of that social pressure all the time. They don't have to answer their texts all the time anymore, their Snapchats, because we have put in the rule that says, no, you have to wait until lunch to do that. And I think it gives them a little bit of a sense of knowing where the boundaries are and being able to say and assert themselves and say, no, right now I want to focus on my academics and not on the social scene. The
current way that it's being done at Westwood Senior High, your school in Hudson, Catherine, do you think that is, the grand compromise of compromise? Do you think, because in some other schools, it can be you're on school grounds, you come to school in the morning, your phone gets put away, you don't see it until the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think that, going forward, you may end up at that place?
I think a fair compromise allows them to be able to use them on their lunch period and on recess. Just for practicality's sake, a lot of kids pay in the cafeteria with their tap on their phone and so forth. Wow. And so I think that is, that's not going to change. So I think there have to be some allowances made. And there is downtime during the school day, especially times at lunch. And I think that is kind of important times for kids to be able to disconnect and at least be able to do their own thing a little bit. We, of course, would rather that they're more active and outside and engaged. But, I think that it is their own time. And I think we do have to realize that they should be able to do their own thing at their own time.
Okay, so that's what I want. You know what? I'm happy we're talking about this, because this is, lunchtime rolls around. And what I hear, right, and I don't have school-age children, so but what I hear is where you see more and more, so lunchtime rolls around, And then, classroom of 30 kids. So it's, 30 kids all now by themselves on their phone. And I remember lunchtime when I went to high school, and we didn't have smartphones. So we would go and we would be playing football or soccer or just talking and doing things together.
Yes.
Things
have changed a little bit, Elias, sadly. Now, the athletic kids are still always going to be those kids. They'll be out on the field playing, soccer or football when the snow is falling. They'll still be out there, and they're still doing that. Yes, do we see a little bit of, kids on the phone not interacting as much? We do. There's no question about that. But again, oftentimes they're showing each other things on their phone, talking about it, interacting. They do interact, certainly not the same as, in our day in high school, for sure. That was all we had. Now they have that and more. So they've incorporated it for sure into the way that they interact with each other.
So let me ask you what benefits you've seen. I don't know if it's focus or maybe there's less bullying. Any benefits that you've seen so far?
Well, I think it definitely, as a teacher, we always see a benefit in the classroom. The kids are always much more focused when they're not constantly kind of looking down or wanting to look at it or wanting to be on the phone. They're definitely, much more engaged, easier to reach, easier to interact with. And I think that that's really, really a good positive because, it's hard in this day and age. We need them to be focused. We need them to be with us. And I think, not having the cell phone, it just removes that distraction and allows them to concentrate on what they need to be there for.
Catherine, we're going to have to leave it there. It's always a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you so much for this morning.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Elias.
That's Catherine Hogan right there, high school teacher at Westwood Senior High in Hudson.